Okay, and can we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, fortunately we don't have a quorum, so we can't approve the minutes. We have some agenda items, however, that we can discuss informally. Can we begin with the fiscal year 14-15 budget? Duke?
Last meeting we actually did, well, we didn't approve it because we didn't have a quorum, but we had a recommendation to approve the FY 14-15 budget. There was one change in the budget. As you all know, last meeting we discussed removing the executive director position from the budget.
Correct.
That position with benefits totaled $164,340. We also had reallocated the financial services to hire an outside financial advisor. It was recommended that we remove that money also, and the money was reprogrammed in this budget. In the budget, well, let me start by making an explanation for about $17,000 worth of it. I know everybody sees the memo. Finance support, we have $9,000 was allocated for finance support, $8,000 for IT support. In the budget that was prepared in our FY 13-14 budget, we had these services since in the reorganization, but we didn't, fix them in the budget. But we do have all of our finance stuff is handled by the finance department now. All of the IT support, the website, uploading all the documents and everything is also in-house as well. And there are stipends that are given to all of the staff. I know everyone remembers when we were looking at possibly redoing the logo for the CRA. So we have stipends for several of the staff members that do receive it, and for IT and finance to do all of the support stuff for the CRA. Staff time for day-to-day management of the CRA. That money's there, $26,000. Basically, again, small stipends were given. Staff is recommended to increase the stipends for myself, Terry, and Nikki, the three people from staff that do work on the CRA. Downtown street improvements, $70,000 has been allocated to do some work in District 2 for some trees and landscaping. And 123rd Street improvements over by the credit union, there's going to be some swale work improvements done as well. So that's the 169 that was reprogrammed in this budget. Other than that, it's the same budget that we've seen at the last meeting, but with the removal of those two items, we had to reprogram the money. This was reprogrammed.
Now, this reprogramming of the money was discussed at at the CRA meeting, correct?
At the CRA meeting,
Yes.
they ordered us to reprogram the money, yes.
Right. And this follows their instructions of reprogramming the money.
It follows their instructions of reprogramming the money. This is staff recommendations for the reprogramming of the money. The two projects were actually projects that were mentioned that we were looking at possibly doing this fiscal year to try to find the money to do. When we had the money to reprogram, then we said we decided to use these funds to take care of the two projects, the 123rd and the downtown street improvements. The finance support and the IT support is pretty much, I want to call it a fixed cost because we are using the services. And then the staff, the additional funding for staff, that was as a recommendation of staff for that one.
Okay. Any discussion of these changes?
Downtown street improvements, what is that for?
That's going to be for landscaping in the downtown area, for District 2, trees and some swale improvements also.
Okay, where does the 124th Street improvements, are they in just part of the regular budget?
Yes, if you look on this sheet here,
Right.
if you look on the second page of that sheet,
Yeah.
you would
Oh,
see
I see.
as the where's that? What that? It was the two. It was the two. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly where it's at. Okay, it's on the first page, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's the streetscape. Let me look at the narrative. I know we outlined it in the narrative. 245,847. It's in the streetscape improvements of the 371.
And 70,000 is for
It's
the
for
other-
downtown street improvements. Yes.
Right, yes.
The clean team, is that gonna be budgeted by the city now?
Yes, the
Yeah,
city's taken over the clean team.
That has been budgeted
for the past 2 years.
Yes, yes.
Well, I
Yeah.
think this is great.
Yeah.
I think that if the count, if the board buys into it, it means that, you know, we've really bought in, we as a collective group have bought into the continuing the way we're going without an executive director and using the facilities downtown, the staff downtown, and then our consultants, which is, I think a very efficient way to go at this point.
Yeah.
I love allocating money to all these other projects, not having an executive director.
Right, right.
Yeah,
But if
by
you-
the way,
if you-
can
if
we
you re-
acknowledge that our city manager and and CRA director, executive director are here,
Yeah,
Maureen Ghani.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize. Actually, I just came back from a downtown meeting with the county on annexation. And actually, one of the things that came up in the two areas that we had down at the county was CRA funds to improve the housing and to improve the infrastructure needs, and using the CRA funds. Those are the two areas along 100 and West Dixie and 119 that is adjacent. When I say I pointed this way because that is one area, and the other area is up off 18th Avenue of West Dixie, 147 to 149. So those two areas are a little exactly, and they are
More
adjacent.
crowded than the rest of the city?
They're adjacent to the city boundaries, and there's a little pockets of unincorporated, and what we are trying to do is to square off the boundaries. So those two applications just went forward, and they moved forward at the committee level
I have a
downtown.
great idea, why don't we give those two parcels of land to Biscayne Park and leave our adjoining piece?
Well,
of
that's
land?
the adjoining piece is what the area of contention right now is, the adjoining piece along the 16th Avenue corridor, and that application was deferred. But it's ironic that the committee brought up at the meeting using CRA funds
Well, obviously, we
To-
can't use CRA funds if we're not existing any longer.
to upgrade some of the housing stock in some of those areas. Sorry? No, well, it was part of our application. You know, it will improve because we already service it for water and sewer as well. So the area right now that is really the area of conflict is the area along 16th, along the Biscayne Boulevard corridor. You know, so
Yeah,
again, let me apologize, but as Duke said, the budget, and I had a chance of actually talking to George Fernandez down there, who was actually presenting the county's budget, the county side of the application for the annexation, and he did say he looked at our budget cursory. He did take a look at our budget, our CRA budget, and he saw no issues so far, and he said he has agreed with everything we have in the budget. So tentatively, I'm not saying he has approved everything, but he has already given us, verbal approval on the budget, because I just spoke to him about less than an hour ago concerning our CRA budget.
Well, congratulations.
So,
Yeah,
yes.
congratulations for sure.
That's huge.
and that's one of the, exactly. So-
Could I just want to point out one more page with the budget. It's this page that has the breakdown of the analysis of the CRA reorganization. And basically this, and just again in our efforts to be fully transparent with everything that's going on, this is the list of all of the stipends in case you guys are wondering where the stipends come from. this is a list of all of the stipends, and
Wait,
we
what
have
page is
a annual comparison of the pre and post reorganization of the CRA, and you can see the number in the very corner. We still are, with everything that we're doing, we have a savings of $147,692 for staffing and consultants that we're using in-house now with how we're operating the CRA. The executive director was very aggressive in making the cuts, and so we're still saving, and this doesn't even take into account the money we were spending for the lease at the building,
The rental,
and the utilities and
the
everything
utilities,
else.
the telephones.
So we still are saving 147,000.
So it's gonna be well over 150.
That's being reprogrammed in the CRA budget this year.
So,
So, and moving forward,
These are all the people that are our staff that
Yes,
are
yeah.
support to the CRA.
Again.
So
Right.
yes.
I notice under the proposed 14-15 on this page, there's the $26,000.
That's the additional one that I was referring to.
Right here on this page, the
Yes, that's the
$26,000 here?
$26,000. How that is proposed to be broken up is, and again, it's a staff recommendation. It'll be on the board to decide to make a difference or change it. But Terry, myself, and Nakia, we work on the CRA, and it started, it was gonna be a small project for a small amount of time, and of course, you all know what it moved into, so, it would be to give, Nakia, an increase, Terry an increase, and myself an increase.
No, with the work you guys put in, there's no objection to that,
Yeah.
obviously.
The
And
26
by the
will be
way,
split
I think
amongst us.
we owe a lot of compliments to these three gentlemen here. They've done a lot in moving.
Three gentlemen and the
moving a lot
lady,
forward.
don't
And
forget
the
about
lady,
Nikki,
right,
please.
don't forget
Oh, and Nikki.
she's the one who moves all the projects.
So anyway,
Nikki's
does
the
anybody
one.
else have any comments on the budget?
Yeah, one thing is, I noticed is that, am I right in that the net revenue, that this year, 14-15, is gonna be almost up 100% from last year?
This year's gonna be a little over $600,000, but yeah,
640.
it's almost 100,
That's right.
100,000, I mean,
The
100%.
market's still moving, so I think we could, I'm just saying, if this is a trend, we're gonna be a little bit more healthy.
Well,
down the
Correct.
road.
And with the sale of the Biscayne Landing property,
That right there
we're
is-
anticipating for next budget, next fiscal year, if
Well
the
over.
CRA life is extended, well over 300,000 additional money coming
So
in
it's
at a
gonna be
minimum.
close to $1 million.
Yeah, at a minimum. We'll
So
be right at $1 million
The
coming
TIF
in.
revenues projected for next year is gonna be close to $1 million, you know, with the sale of Biscayne Landings.
Right.
Yeah.
And another, I was looking at our programming for next year,
Mhm.
I mean, for this, I guess for this year, and I was noticing that, am I right in that we're gonna have, is it for the beautification and for the rehabilitation, that we have now folded in all the things that we took back? I guess I'm saying, where is that number? We have, I'm sorry, there's a number here, the number that's allocated for this year, which is 200,000, but there's, looks like money that has not been used, 300,000 plus. Now, is that money that's allocated for ongoing projects, or is that money that's freed up? So the money that's really available, 500,000.
No. If it's $300,000 that's listed, that's how much we have to spend is $300,000. This doesn't take it to this takes it to, anything in the proposed budget is the amount that's gonna be spent. The other money is already accounted for. I hope, did I make myself clear on that one, Clark? I'm sorry. Which line are you on?
He's talking about the carryover funds?
Oh, the
The
carryover
carryover.
funds, the
Yeah,
carryover
carryover.
funds for encumbered projects. Basically, what that is, no, it's not additional money. Captain Jim's, which you had, and, Kanasu.
Can of soup. Yeah.
Those were projects that were implemented for last fiscal year, for
Right,
FY
they weren't
13-14.
$300,000.
No, they were $211,000.
211, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So those funds move over
I
to
got it.
this year.
I got it.
Okay.
Right.
The 25,000 has been encumbered for Arch Street.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that was also encumbered.
I see that, you mentioned before, some street improvements, is that included in the 371, 521 on the back? 371,000?
Yes. If you look at almost everything that's on this page, on this page, you have a narrative that we actually had, I mean, you might not have the narrative with you,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that
it's
three
in the
hundred seventy-one
package, it's in the
breaks
package.
down to the 123rd Street improvements in an amount of 55,674.
Wait, go slow.
Well, let me give you the page. I'll let you have my page here. Here you go, Chief.
I did read it, I guess I just.
Yeah, it's in the package.
The
Right.
complete online package has the narrative.
It has all the narrative.
Great, I got it right
Well, I
here.
gotta tell you, it's more clear than I've ever seen it.
Well,
We know exactly, I mean, I feel like I know exactly where the money's going, and that's so new.
and definitely that's a comment we got back from the county too. So
And we would definitely, I know Rasha's not with us this evening, but we would definitely have to give a lot of credit to
to
Rasha
Russia,
also
that's correct.
for her helping us, because Terry and I and the manager and the executive director, we're all new to CRA, so having her with us, she helps us out to make sure that we are in compliance with everything with the county. So that's a big help to us as well.
Just give me, on Northeast, I don't quite understand the bottom one here, new landscaping along sidewalk replacements or repairs along Northeast 125th Street to Northeast, to 119th Street,
That's this
from Northeast 16th Avenue to the train tracks. What exactly is that? I'm, that's kind of foggy here. I don't-
Okay, that area that we have there, this money was allocated since Councilman Blynn's allocation was every
Okay.
district got 200,000 for CRA improvements.
Right,
We did some sidewalks, we never completed all of it.
okay.
There's a remainder of this, it actually was $72,000.
Okay.
Of the $200,000 allocation,
I
the
remember
streets
that.
improvement, planting some oak trees, sidewalk improvement. We did some driveways. When I say driveways, the area between the sidewalk and the driveway. Some property owners had no driveway approaches. So that money was used to improve those areas. And if that area is basically, if you're familiar where the Parks Operations Center is, from 14th Avenue all the way up, that's the whole area from 125th to 119th up to 8th Avenue. That's the area that we did the work in.
Okay. With regards to that 200,000, that one from Mr. Blynn's district at
Sure.
the time, some of that was supposed to go to 125th Terrace. Now, that you're divided between 1 and 2.
Right.
District 1,
District
District 2.
1,
That's
District
the
2.
dividing line.
That's correct.
125th Terrace looks like hell. It should
Okay.
have been done. I mean, it's just absolutely horrible. But one of the things that you did do, not you personally,
Yeah.
but between 123rd to 125th
North
Terrace
Avenue,
on Northeast
125th Terrace.
15th Avenue, across from the Three Horizons.
Okay.
Let me just, we put in a swale area, all grass. It's on the east side of the avenue, 15th Avenue is a short avenue.
That's right.
And then we erect no parking signs. Absolutely preposterous. If we're gonna do that, we should finish the landscape and put the grass in, landscape it, and put a curb and gutter up. You got people parking there continuously. And all we're doing is we're just wasting money.
But we
I've
planted
been meaning to
some
bring this up. This was a CRA project, I believe.
We planted some new oak trees there as well.
No, there's nothing there, sir.
It's on
I just came that way, there's absolutely nothing there.
Along 15th Avenue.
15th between 123
Between
and
125.
125 Terrace, and 124th Street goes into a dead
Okay.
end there. There's nothing there, it's across from the Three Horizons, and
Okay.
we're just wasting dough.
On the west side of the street, on 15th Avenue,
No,
there's
it's on the east side of 15th
okay,
Avenue.
the east side of 15th is actually is Miami-Dade County. That's the reason why we didn't plant anything on the east.
No, 15th Avenue or 16th Avenue?
15th Avenue. There's a right-of-way, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
there's a
There's a right-of-way there that is open with a guardrail.
right.
Some of the sidewalks went in, and those sidewalks we put it in, those, I would say they went in error, because that section is a section that is unincorporated. That right-of-way, there's a canal that goes under the apartment
Yeah, I
building.
remember that.
It's called the Little Arch Creek Canal. I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with it.
Yeah.
And
It was all closed in.
It was part of
Yeah, yeah.
what the city has with Miami-Dade County interlocal agreement. That area you're talking about,
Yeah.
it's
But-
Miami-Dade counties. That's why nothing is done
Then
with
let's-
CRA funds
At least
there.
let's get a curb and something, it looks horrible.
I understand.
And we spent money on it, and it's just like.
People complained about walking to the apartment building, and this is one of the reasons why the sidewalks went in. That's why on the west side of that street, we planted oak trees right next or adjacent to the,
Three Horizons.
the Three Horizon,
Right.
that's correct.
But on the east side.
On the east side, you saw no improvements
Nothing.
except the sidewalks.
I don't even remember the side, but I do remember
Yeah, there
the
are
trail
sidewalks
and
there.
cars are parking
That's
on
right.
it, and which is, it's like
You're
just
correct.
throwing money away. It's just
You're
ridiculous.
correct.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we didn't do anything on the east side.
So we're gonna get the county to put a curb in?
I'll approach the county to see what we could do out there. That's the only reason why CRA funds was not spent over
Okay,
there.
all right, and 125 Terrace is something you should really look at,
Okay,
very hard. I
all
mean,
right.
it's-
I'll make a note of it, 125 Terrace.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta between District 1, and I had understood originally when we allocated that 200,000.
Right.
That some of it was gonna go to that, and it never did.
But let's see how much money we have remaining and if I could put some,
You know what I'm talking about, between 16th and 15th Avenue.
I know exactly where it is,
Okay, any other comments on the budget?
16 and 15.
All right, although we can't take an official vote, we can certainly take a consensus. So, Kenny, you,
I concur that we should take a consensus, and I consent that
Holly?
concurrence is consented.
I concur too that this should move forward,
right,
that the board should move forward on this.
okay, Mary? Okay, all right, sir, moving on now to, HCT, which is here to talk about the audit.
The second agenda item is the engagement letter of HCT to move forward with the audit services for FY 13-14. HCT's done our last two audits, and they'll be here again for this year. Right now, we're requested to just move forward at a fee of $13,000 for the audit. That's what the engagement letter. It's important to note, we've made a lot of changes in the CRA the last, 9 months?
Last 9 months.
We've made a lot of changes in the last 9 months. The majority of this audit is gonna be auditing the previous administration. And I just wanna say that because in case the audit doesn't come back too favorably, we've only had a hand on it for the last 2 months of the fiscal year.
Absolutely.
So the
And we
fee should be a
understand
lot less moving forward than the $13,000 we're figuring. Everything has been incorporated into the city's system now, so we do have a better way of tracking everything and a clearer model in doing so. And the last, we met with HCT maybe
A week
three
ago.
weeks ago.
But he came back and he met with
Yeah.
us again.
So we've met with them. We've already started compiling everything. I think we're almost done with compiling everything for the last fiscal year. We're going through and we're pulling all the records. My staff is actually doing it, and we're very comfortable. We'll have everything done, and we'll have our stuff completed in time for the date. If there's any questions, or did you want to do a brief description? Or if you guys have any questions, you know,
Use the mic.
he's here to
Just
Answer
introduce
any
yourself
questions
and
if you
use the
guys-
mic. So just for the record.
go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Executive Director, before he makes his presentation.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, in the past, you can go ahead,
Yeah.
just, I have a question for staff. I recall that we'd have, in addition to the engagement letter that they put, we have our own separate auditor's agreement that
Okay.
sets forth the parameters. Does Harvey Covington do the city's audit as well?
Yes, they do.
Do you just sign the engagement letter, or does the
Um,
city attorney provide a separate agreement?
No, I just signed the engagement letter, but in this case, if you said it's standard practice, I would
Okay.
definitely like,
Let
you know.
me look back. I think we may have done one with HCT in the
Correct.
past, and it basically attaches their engagement letter.
That's
that has
fine.
some other terms and
so if you have an agreement, a standard agreement for the CRA, let's move,
Okay.
in that
And
direction.
I presume, and I'm sorry, I forget your name, because you gave me Harvey's card.
Louis Chase.
I'll give you mine as well.
All right, Louis,
Yeah.
I presume you don't have any objection to that. I mean, if that was our past procedure, we'll just.
Yeah, it's just procedural, I'm just here kind of just to, actually, I was involved in audits as well. and stuff
Okay.
like that, you know,
Okay,
just for
thank
both the
you.
city
That's all I
and-
had.
Okay, does anybody have any questions of Louis?
How was the audit?
Well,
Flying colors?
I haven't
Well,
done it yet.
They haven't
We
done
haven't
it
done
yet.
it
This
yet.
is for last,
This is just the engagement
is-
letter.
yeah.
We're working closely with our staff.
No, I was reading, we had in here the FY 13-14, the audit was probably 10 months, yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be actually
know,
what's
I got you.
passed.
One of the important things, the last 2 months of the year, we began following the recommendations of HCT with the recommendations from the previous year. Currently now, we're following the recommendations. We're reconciling with the city. Well, we are the city, which makes it easier that we're reconciling. So we know the books are right now and what we're spending money on. That wasn't the case previously. You know, it was one account that, oh, the city spent this much and we owe the city this much. Now everybody's in-house and we're all on top of it now. And we have the finance department working with us as well.
Very good.
Yeah, so we're getting everything, we're working together with staff to get everything to get ready for the next.
Anything, Howard?
And, I'm sorry, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, and how long do we think it'll take to complete the audit?
That, I'm not sure. I think we're done with the information that we need to provide. I think we're 95% done. When they came in, we immediately started working on it. We have our intern pulling documents, and we've put together folders for each month of the year with every transaction that was made in the CRA for the last year.
Okay, so
Yeah, we're
then,
getting everything ready, Mr. Harvey, the map department will coordinate everything's being coordinated, so we can move forward together.
okay, do you think the report will be done before the end of the month? You don't know.
I'll talk to you, Mr. Harvey.
Honestly, I don't believe it's gonna be done by the end of the month.
'Cause, you know, we have to submit it to the state.
Yes.
Yes.
We might be done probably by mid-April. I don't think we're gonna be done by the end of the month to make it for our annual report. I don't think so.
End of April.
Mid-April.
So we'll still fit in some kind of grace period or something?
Well, there's no penalty in the statute for submitting the report late.
Right.
It's just, it's late, you know, the statute says you're
Yeah.
supposed to submit everything by March 31st.
By March 31st.
And I'll definitely reach out, and we'll work, and we'll try our best to make sure it's done in time, and if we can get it done in time. Our finance department is still, you know, going through their reorganization, and by far, I'm not gonna say that I'm the king of audits. You know, I just know what they needed, so we're helping put it together to speed up the process. But it will really be on our finance department, but who's still going through a transition period as
I
well.
mean, you know, next year we may want to consider, as a dependent special district of the city, we could have our audit done in connection with the city's audit as well.
Well, actually, it is being done in connection with the city's audit. The city's CAFA is being done right now.
Okay,
Harvey has an engagement letter that I signed about 2 weeks ago.
okay,
But the city's audit, we're looking at to be submitted by June.
right,
In the initial meeting that we had, when the CRA was mentioned, it was clearly stated our deadline was around March 31st. But he said he was going to try to meet that deadline for us, but if it's late, it's going to be just a few days, maybe a week. But we'll talk to him again. Staff will make sure they reach out to him tomorrow, and we get a definite date before the board meeting next week. We definitely will get a date on when the audit would be submitted to us.
okay. All right, thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Executive Director.
Okay, consensus time. Does everybody feel comfortable with the engagement letter and his scope of services? Holly?
Oh,
Pardon?
sorry, Holly, but you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kenny?
You're supposed to read the letter, I haven't seen it. Counselor, have you seen it?
To the chair, I mean, it's their standard form engagement letter. HCT has been our auditor probably for the last 4 or 5 years now.
4 years, yeah. They're on the 5th year, so
So,
I'll put it back
you
out
know,
for
I feel
bidding.
comfortable
Okay.
with their letter, with our agreement, and
Okay.
attaching the letter to it.
Okay.
and
Okay.
we'll put that
Consensus.
together.
If you're comfortable, I'm comfortable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mary? Okay. All right, so
Standard.
we have a consensus on that. So, moving on, we have the the CRA attorney reports.
I have
Anything?
nothing to report.
Okay, executive director, anything?
I don't know if you brought up the $1,000.
That's what I was Terry
Um,
just made copies.
Okay. I think we just pass it out so we could
Yeah. We just actually received the email
we
for
got a request today, so
actually it was on the 23rd, we got a request from the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce to be a sponsor at their business luncheon they're having, symposium and business luncheon. It would be, I know we're gonna start needing to reach out and build some relationships with the CRA. I was thinking maybe if we did, and Mr. Attorney, is this something that the CRA can do, to sponsor a table for, one of the events for $1,000 for the luncheon?
through the chair, you know, CRAs are permitted under statute to expend money on marketing, and the like in furtherance of their,
Right.
you know, statutory mission. You know, I will say it's a slippery slope, though. You know,
Okay.
you pay for one table at one event, and I
Right.
remember in the past, we would be getting numerous requests from,
Right.
you know, numerous people. I mean, this is obviously the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. You know, if we want to sort of limit ourselves to events like that, rather than, you know, special interest groups that may come before us looking for us to purchase
good, good.
tables.
Why do we wanna do this? I mean, what are we gonna gain?
I don't like, I'd ask Sally first.
I mean, really,
Really,
you know,
she warned
we're getting
against
away
it.
from, do we wanna really do this? I mean, is it?
And it was a request that came in, and I just, you know, I said
Yeah, I don't-
we would bring it to the board to see, I mean, if you guys, you don't feel comfortable moving forward, we won't move forward.
What I see now is you're really getting to some of straight and narrow.
Straight and
Get rid of
narrow.
all of the frills and all of the,
Okay.
you know, like, our training's important.
Okay.
That's
Correct.
$1,000 that could be in our training, but we start going in that
Well-
direction, then we're kinda like,
I think it's too early to start.
I,
reaching
when we
out.
get more
Okay.
money,
We
when
need
we
more
reestablish,
money and
we get,
Things are in place, we know exactly.
And
what
that's
we
the reason
want.
why I
Well-
brought it before the board, and if it's the recommendation, as Duke mentioned it to me today, I said, let's put it, bring it as part of my report as well. So, and
Wait.
I really like the direction, and I'm glad to
Well-
hear this from this board.
Well, here's the thing. We're doing so well now, everything is clicking.
All right,
The last thing we want to do is have somebody
raise a
say,
red flag.
here they go again,
there you go.
okay?
Alright.
You know,
And,
you know, I just,
I do think if like a individual or two wants to attend it, from staff, that I would have no objection to.
Right.
I don't know if you can
Good, that's
buy
good.
individual tickets.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Yes, you
Yes, you
can,
can,
yes,
yes.
yes.
Take a few tickets as
So-
representatives to see, is
Why-
this something we wanna pursue?
why don't
Right.
we do this? Why don't we, I think two people going would
Yeah.
be sufficient.
Okay, that's fine.
So, my recommendation would be to
So you'll put
authorize
it on the
two
report.
tickets to
Just to
go.
get 2 tickets rather than a table.
Exactly.
That's fine.
And it's gonna make much more sense to,
Okay.
to have staff
we
go,
don't, really.
Right.
I think.
No, I think
Okay.
for us to see really
That's a good point.
what is happening, and, you know, to be part of what the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce is important.
I mean,
so-
I'd like to go and I'll buy my own ticket.
But I'll provide,
Okay.
you know,
But for
Friday the
staff,
13th,
you know,
Okay.
the other thing too I wanted as part of my report,
put me in when you
of
do
my
buy
report
the
is
ticket.
the, I'm trying to see if I could get some training. I don't know if Duke brought it up before I came in, but, to get some training for the new members of the council on CRAs. Florida League has a sort of like a training manual for newly elected officials and also board members who are interested in getting training. They,
And when is that going to be?
I haven't scheduled anything as yet. This is one of the things that I'm trying to do, to get like a CRA 101, 101 and what CRA funds can do. What can it be used for? As a new elected official, a newly elected official, you know, there are certain things and certain areas, as the attorney was saying, there's a slippery slope in some of the areas that we
Well, you
try
know,
to.
Our CRA attorney was a presenter at, event, I think it was called CRA 101, wasn't it?
ABCs of CRAs.
ABCs, right, or
I mean,
something like that.
Yeah, I've made the presentation to past administrations. I
Right.
can update it. I mean,
Okay.
it's a PowerPoint. I can always just hand it out to people.
Oh, that's fine, and, you know.
And they can have it, or if you'd like me to take the time in a meeting and run through it for about half an hour,
Sure.
I'm happy to do
I
it.
think it would be really nice to have, so that people who are interested can be there and ask questions and that kind of thing.
Right.
You can't with a PowerPoint.
And the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because of the several homeowners meetings that I've attended, and a lot of times people are saying, you know, what is this CRA, and where is this CRA, what is it all about? I've attended 2 meetings at the Gwen Magole, at the Griffin Community Center recently, and the residents that came out wanted to know, well, where is this money coming from? What can it be used? And they were asking for.
Well, as I mentioned at one point,
Right.
I think it, you know, we had such positive feedback when we actually, as they say, a picture says 1,000 words.
Correct.
And I think when we, you know, got everybody on a bus, we had people from the CRA who were there, we wrote up, we took a look at what actually happened. We talked to an executive director and staff of another CRA. It was very informative and it was very interesting because you actually saw what they did and they stood there and said, this is what we did to build this and this is how we use the money and that
Right.
kind of thing. I think that would be an invaluable asset to not only the board members, because it's always good as a refresher to talk to people after you haven't talked to them for 4 or 5 years, to find out what they're doing now and how things have changed, but also to interested citizens, like some of the people you encountered at the other two
At the
meetings,
Griffins, right.
who were saying, gee whiz, what is the CRA?
What is the CRA and where's
what
this
does it
money?
do and-
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I
So-
would suggest that.
And the only reason why I brought it up is because of those meetings, and what we could do is to probably do it at a CRA executive, a board meeting, sorry, and invite some of the property owners or some of the interested
Yes,
residents.
exactly.
And we could do it here, right here at the council chambers. So everybody
But
could.
nothing says it like actually going and saying
Understood,
it.
but if they want to know where the funding and what it is all about, you know, I think it's a good start.
We can do it at the same time. That's what we
Yeah.
did last time.
So-
As we were in the bus going up,
Right.
they told us how the money was spent and
Right.
how it came and that kind of thing. So then you had an understanding of what it was, and then you actually saw it in person.
Mhm.
It was a big.
So those are the two things I know over the last month or last 2 to 3 weeks I have, you know, and of course the budget, I just said, I spoke to the county and everything seems to be moving in the right direction.
Okay.
So far I have no other, you know, but those are the 3 things that I wanted to bring up as part of my report.
All right. Is there? Do we have a consensus on 2 tickets for staff to go to this
Okay,
and to do follow up? Yeah,
Okay.
everybody. Okay. Mary and
so go
Clark
ahead,
and-
Duke, and you'll purchase 2 tickets for us.
Okay. All right. So.
That was all of the new business for the CRA. Again, thank you guys. I think we're on the right track. Welcome, Holly. We should have some other new members that should be joining us soon in the next couple meetings. So by summertime, we'll be a full moving machine.
Okay, very good. Any questions, comments, concerns? Do I hear a motion? Well, we can't motion to adjourn. There's a consensus that we're all done?
Consensus. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.